back to Tea Talk and Tarot, Mystical Charms and Things. I'm Christine Wallace, your trusted psychic advisor and spiritual guide. Today's episode is not for the faint of heart. We're going to be diving into the topic that's both thrilling and chilling. Cursed objects. Everything from haunted dolls to hexed heirlooms. Some items seem to carry more than just sentimental value. They carry energy. But are these objects truly cursed? Or is it the belief that gives them the power? So get cozy, grab your tea, and let's explore the shadowy side of the spiritual world. Cursed objects are believed to carry negative energy, spiritual attachments, or even intentional hexes placed upon them. They can cause emotional distress, physical illness, bad luck, or just an overwhelming sense of dread. These items can be handed down through generations. Sometimes you can find them in thrift stores or estate sales, picked up during travel to spiritually active places, or gifted with negative intentions. But how do you know if something is cursed and not just creepy? Let's talk about the signs. So if you've brought some kind of item in your home, or it was gifted to you or passed down through generations, those items, when you're touching them or near them, can sometimes make you feel drained or anxious. People start arguing, falling ill, or experiencing misfortune after it enters your space. Pets avoid the item or act strangely around it. It also can cause intrusive thoughts, like negative intrusive thoughts, nightmares, or a deep sense of unease. Some of these signs can be explained, others not so easily, but energy definitely doesn't lie. If something feels off, it probably is, something wrong. So let's talk about just a few famous items that have been cursed. The Annabelle doll, which I only found out a few years ago, it was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. That is locked away in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum, said to be possessed by a spirit that causes harm, especially to skeptics. The Hope Diamond, beautiful but trailed by tragedy for many of its owners. And number 3, a Dybbuk box, a wine cabinet believed to be haunted by restless Jewish spirit. Even those who touched it reported illnesses and bad dreams. These stories live on not just because of folklore, but because something happened to enough people to spark belief. And yes, 100% in my 35 years of helping people, I've come across many clients who unknowingly brought home something spiritually active. What you need to know is objects absorb energy. Sometimes it can be a piece of art, it can be a piece of furniture, it can be heirlooms like jewelry. More likely, probably jewelry and things like that, because if they're worn by a negative person or a person going through a negative time while they were wearing it, or it was in their possession and it's been passed down, that's how the energy can pass down to the next person who owns the object. And many times, thrift stores, certain antiques, just like a room can feel heavy after a heated argument, objects can hold emotional or spiritual residue. And if they've been used in rituals or cursed intentionally, that energy definitely needs to be cleared. So if you suspect an object is cursed, don't panic. Fear actually feeds that energy. And there are different things that we can do to cleanse these items. Sometimes holy water, speaking like positive protection and clearing with sage or Palo Santo can clear it up. But some of these can be so intense that they actually need to be locked away. And I'm going to talk in our next episode a little bit about, how museums handle these cursed objects as well. So, yeah, if you feel like something like that is around you or has come into your possession, be sure to give me a call and we can definitely sit down and discuss it. So this week, a listener asked me, can a gift from an ex be cursed, even if they didn't do anything spiritual to it? And the answer to that question is yes. If it holds painful emotional energy or even bad intentions, it can weigh you down spiritually. That's why I always say, don't keep what doesn't honor your soul. Let go, cleanse, and protect your space. Cursed or not, energy is real. Everything around you holds a frequency. Be mindful of what you bring into your sacred space. So here's today's affirmation in relation to that type of negative energy. Repeat after me. I release all negative energy and claim peace, light, and protection in every space I enter. And again, if you feel that you've come across something that you feel has brought a bad energy into your environment or into your life, give me a call at 855-708-2768. And just hang on, because we are going to be talking about, like I said, how some museums handle cursed objects. Okay, so now we're getting into the topic of how museums handle objects with a reputation for being cursed. I've always found it interesting that so many people say they don't believe in this kind of thing, but when there's like a haunted house or something like that, no one wants to buy it, regardless of what they claim to believe. And even the neighbors get upset because the real estate pricing actually drops in those areas. No one even wants to be near it. And in order for a real estate or whatever to tell you that a place is haunted, they're obligated to tell you, but only if you ask. Interesting, right? So a little bit of haunted information. If you want to move or buy a new home, be sure to ask if anything unusual has happened in that location. So moving forward with the museums, I think this is going to be interesting to you. So museums often acquire cursed objects because of their historical, cultural, or artistic value, right? Not just their supernatural reputation. Many of these items, such as the Hope Diamond or the unlucky mummy at the British Museum, are significant artifacts with well-documented histories alongside their cursed legends. When displaying these objects, museums typically present both the factual history and the associated folklore. This dual narrative attracts visitors' interest in both the artifacts and provenance and its supernatural reputation. So here are the safety and precautions that museums take. Some museums take extra precautions with objects believed to be cursed. For example, the Natural History Museum kept the cursed amethyst locked away in a bank vault inside 7 boxes, accompanied by a warning note from its previous owner. In cases where the curse is believed to be particularly dangerous, museums may restrict physical access. For instance, Busby's stoop chair is displayed in a way, excuse me, that prevents anyone from sitting on it. So I hear it's hung on a wall, minimizing the risk of activating the curse. Museums often use cursed reputation of objects as a way to engage the public, blending education with entertainment. They may include a cautionary signage, storytelling, or even letters from the previous owner warning about the object's effects. Some museums, like the Warren Occult Museum, haunted museums, specialize in cursed and haunted objects. That's the Warren Occult Museum. So they specialize in haunted objects especially, marketing the thrill and danger as part of the visitor's experience. These institutions may use protective cases, warning signs, and even rituals like salt or prayer to contain the curse, both for safety and, I guess, some theatrical effect. Many cursed objects end up in museums because previous owners are too afraid to destroy or sell them, fearing retaliation from the curse. Museums are seen as a safe and safe repositories, both preserving the artifact and, in the eyes of some, neutralizing its threat by removing it from private hands. So, yeah, a lot of cursed objects, because of that very reason, end up in museums. And the thing is that when it's passed down, that curse actually travels with the item. And yes, it's true that there could be some retaliation. And I hope that, a lot of people take that into consideration before passing it down to future generations once they realize that the item is cursed. I really hope that they do. So, moving forward, we want to talk about some of the history of these items that I've just mentioned to you. So we're going to get into the next segment of this episode, discussing some of the things that happened to some of the people with these cursed objects. Thank you for listening in, and keep going for the next segment of this episode. Only God knows how many cursed items are actually floating around out there for one reason or another, but I decided to pick the three most popular that many of us have heard about. So let's begin with the story of Annabelle the doll. One of the most chilling cursed objects in paranormal history. Annabelle isn't the porcelain horror movie doll that you might have seen in the Conjuring films. In real life, she's a Raggedy Ann doll. Cloth and button eyes, innocent looking on the outside, but according to investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, possessed by something far more sinister. In the early 70s, a nursing student received the doll as a gift. And shortly after, strange things began to happen. Notes appeared around the house, objects moved on their own, and the doll changed positions when no one was looking. A psychic medium told the owner that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. But the Warrens believed otherwise. They said the spirit was not a child, but a demonic entity using the doll as a vessel to get closer to the humans in the home. So that actually really does happen. Yes, it's not necessarily a ghost of someone living before. Real demons can actually possess items, again, for one reason or another. To this day, she's believed to still radiate dark energy. Even museum visitors have reported car crashes and freak accidents after mocking or touching the case. So If you ever intend on visiting that museum in Connecticut, don't mock it. And definitely don't even touch the case. Next on our list is the Hope Diamond, something very beautiful and deadly. The Hope Diamond is a 45-carat blue diamond currently housed in the Smithsonian Institution, but its glittering history is paved with tragedy. Legend says it was stolen from the eye of a sacred Hindu idol, and that everyone who possessed it would suffer misfortune. Whether that's true or not, the list of past owners is filled with death, madness, and despair. Some notable stories include Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, the man who supposedly brought the diamond to Europe, was reportedly torn apart by wild dogs. Marie Antoinette and King Louis were beheaded during the French Revolution after the diamond became a part of the French crown jewels. Evelyn Walsh McLean, a wealthy socialite who wore the diamond frequently, suffered great tragedy: the death of her son in a car crash and her daughter by suicide, and the collapse of her marriage. Eventually, famed jeweler Harry Winston donated it to the Smithsonian in 1958 and shipped it via the U.S. Postal Service. Since then, the curse seems to have quieted, but I think it's just sleeping. The Busby Stoop Chair is another famous one, definitely very eerie. Thomas Busby was an Englishman who in 1702 was executed for murder. Before he was hanged, he had one final request: to have a last drink of ale at his favorite pub while sitting in his favorite wooden chair. He cursed it, declaring that anyone who sat in it would die. Locals claim the curse is real, and there's a long list of stories to back that up. During World War II, airmen from a nearby base who sat in the chair never returned from their missions. In later years, delivery men, cleaning crews, and even thrill seekers, locals who dared to sit in the chair, died shortly after from accidents or sudden illness. The curse became so feared that the pub's owner eventually donated the chair to a local museum. But not just anywhere. It's now mounted high on a wall where no one can sit in it again. Till this day, no one dares to bring it down or ever sit on it. So here is just like a small portion of all the cursed items around. There are many more. And I think I'm going to add a link to like a YouTube video so you can hear about some more stories in relation to cursed objects. And actually, curses can be transferred into items. For example, taken off of a person and put into a specific item as to move it away from the person and into a specific object. So thank you all so much for listening in. I look forward to serving you. If there is something weird going on in your life or something you can't just reason away, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Just, you can even Google search me and check out my reviews. I am Psychic Christine Wallace, Mystical Charms and Things. And you can reach me at 855-708-2768, where I can offer you a psychic reading via phone if you're long distance, or Zoom. You can also give me a call on WhatsApp at 201-953-0658. And I also have a shop at 810 Chestnut Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19107. So I see people in person as well as long distance. Again, I look forward to serving you. Namaste, and I wish peace and protection, love and light on all of you, my listeners, today and always. Good luck, everybody.